First this week, and due to public demand, the box office hit Calendar Girls has returned to the Lowry Theatre with an all-star cast, including Loose Women's Linda Bellingham, Patricia Hodge, Sean Phillips, Fat Friends and Dancing on Ice Gaynor Faye, Bridget Forsyth, Julia Hills and Elaine C. Smith. Calendar Girls tells the story on stage of a group of women who persuade one another to pose for a charity calendar with a difference. Puzzling their husbands, mortifying their children and riding the wrath of an outraged community, they inadvertently spark a global phenomenon. But as interest in the calendar snowballs, the ladies find themselves revealing more than they'd ever planned. Based on the 2003 hit film of the same name, you've only got 3 chances to see the girls on stage. There's a performance tonight at 7:30, tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, and the final one is tomorrow evening at 7:30. Tickets are just £16, so fellas, get your wallet out and treat your lady and yourself to a night of entertainment that they'll most definitely love you for. Now picture the scene if you can, just imagine, close your eyes. It's the future, on a place once called Earth. Globalisation is complete, everyone watches the same movies, wears the same clothes and thinks the same thoughts. It's a safe, happy, gaga world where all musical instruments are banned, shock horror. But resistance is growing and a hero is well and truly needed. Could the one who called himself Galileo be that man, and can he help them break free? Well, if you didn't guess from our Derren Brown type sort of insinuations there, Queen have been making music together since the 70s and have now joined forces with writer Ben Elton to bring their unique sound to the Palace Theatre. We Will Rock You is a unique musical and a blend of science fiction, comedy and brilliant songs by one of the greatest legendary rock bands of all time. Tickets are priced between £17 and £40, with showings all the way through from now till the 6th of June. Get there, trust me. A one-day spectacular now as a celebration of the history of our vibrant city takes place tomorrow. The Manchester Histories Festival is a chance to discover exhibits, talks, films, tours and music, all inspired by the stories of Manchester's incredible past.
Manchester is a global city. It's famous for the Industrial Revolution around 1800, for the growth of engineering, for science around atoms and energy, for political movements like free trade and the first meeting of the Trade Union Congress, and in the 20th century for more science, different kinds of engineering, city regeneration, music, and of course football. Yeah.
So a lot of impacts there on the city which have shaped it, both within this country and indeed the world.
Absolutely, you could do quite a good history of the world by just looking at Manchester. For example, this building over here was paid for by Bear Peacock, who was a big firm in East Manchester making locomotives, and this building here was the Whitworth Hall, paid for by Whitworth Machine Tools and Armaments.
Okay. So tell us about tomorrow's festival and what people can expect.
It's a festival for everybody. There'll be 40 schools taking part, so we're hoping lots of children will come along. There'll be displays from about 50 local societies and all the big museums and galleries. We've got a great bunch of lecturers, including some TV historians, about 20 expert guided walks, folk music, sing-song, family-friendly events, and a nice cafe.
So what periods of history are you going to cover? Are you going right back to the Roman times?
Well, there'll be a bit on the Romans and the foundation of Manchester on archaeology, but most of it is on the 19th century and the 20th century, right up to the present, because we're concerned with Manchester now as well as with Manchester's history.
I mean, the 19th century and the 20th century, were those the periods, obviously, because of the industrial age and the cotton industry, which really kind of made Manchester, those are the age that most people associate with Manchester?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the 19th century is a great period for the growth of the cotton industry up to the 1914-18 war. And Manchester was very much the centre of that first sort of international manufacturing trade. Yeah. And of course that's why lots of different groups of people came to Manchester, from the Irish in the early 19th century to big Jewish immigration in the late 19th, to Chinese, Islamic, West Indian immigration in our own time, and all these will also be on display.
So history aside, what do you see for the future of the city and the impact it's going to have not just on the country but on the world?
Well, it's very much a leader in, as it were, post-industrial regeneration. It's got some fantastic science, including around here in the university and in MMU, some fantastic new technology industries, some great culture, very strong community spirit. So, I think we can look forward to a time when cities like Manchester, again, as it were, assert their importance vis-à-vis London.
More music now, and it says on my auto cue one of my favourite artists, must be the producers. James Morrison will be performing at the Apollo from 7 p.m. this evening. The English singer and songwriter gained fame throughout Europe, Japan and Australia with his debut single, You Give Me Something, and his first album, Undiscovered, which I wish he'd stayed that, went straight to #1 in the UK, selling more than, get this, 1.5 million copies. Not bad really for a young musician who began to learn guitar at the age of 13. After busking for a few years, the young musician started composing his own music, and not long after he became supporting artist for Corinne Bailey Rae on her debut tour. He's since gone on to win the Best British Male Solo Artist category at the Brit Awards 2 years ago. And as I said earlier, he'll be on stage at the Apollo this evening with tickets which I think are incredibly great value for money. Again, that says that on the auto cue, not me. Priced at £21 and a strange 4p added on there. But if soul is more of your thing and you sort of like getting down and dancing, I've always got something for everyone, and here's some dancing just for you. As former lead singer of the Commodores, Lionel Richie brings his worldwide tour to our city. Mr. Dancing on the Ceiling will be performing at the Manchester Evening News Arena from 8 p.m. this very evening. It's just coming up to about 5 o'clock now, but I understand for some of you that doesn't give you quite enough time to get ready, or maybe you want to see a bit of James Morrison and old Lionel. Well, don't worry, as he'll be doing it all over again at the same time tomorrow evening. But there are just a small number of tickets still available for both performances, and you could be seeing the ultimate soul legend in action from £35. Get ready to say hello to a great night of entertainment. That was really cheesy. Another box office hit that is returning to Manchester, this time at the Opera House, and starring Brendan O'Carroll. For the Love of Mrs. Brown proved a massive hit when it was last on stage back in November. Having discovered the internet, Agnes Brown, well, Mrs. Brown to you and me, accidentally sets up a date with a man she knows only as Hairy Harry 25. Is that not Jethro's screen name? Despite some of her family's protests, Agnes is determined to see her date through, and the show follows Agnes as she prepares for a big date, with her preparations including learning all over again how to date a man, but this time in the 21st century, where men expect a lot more from a date than they did back in her day. So with the help of Winnie, Kathy, Maria and Betty, and despite the objections of the boys in the family, Agnes gets ready for the big Valentine's night date. There's only one way to find out the outcome of Mrs. Brown's date, and this show is said to have you laughing in stitches throughout. It's on tonight and tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. with tickets priced from £13.50. Now, it's Mother's Day this Sunday. If you want to treat your mum to something special and something a little bit different, then why not pop over to Heaton Park? You can kick back and spend some quality time with afternoon tea at the Orangery, with finger sandwiches, scones with jam and clotted cream, sliced cake, tea or coffee, all on offer, while being entertained by a string quartet. Entry is £15 each, and to book you need this important number, 0161 773 2581, or email heaton.hall@manchester.gov.uk. Go on, treat that special lady in your life to something beautiful. And finally, my pick of the flicks for you for now, and a film for the whole family that's hitting the big screen this week. It's Paul Blart, Mall Cop. Paul Blart is a mild-mannered, dutiful family man who works as a security guard in New Jersey Mall. And for years he's applied to become a cop, but because of being overweight, he continually fails the physical exam. One day, a gang of organised criminals put the mall under siege and take hostages. Blart becomes trapped inside, and because of his sense of duty, refuses to leave, therefore becoming the police department's eyes on the inside as he attempts to stop the criminals all on his own. Now, is anyone else sensing that he'll be offered a job as a police officer at the end of the film? Probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, it's a clean, family, fun-filled action comedy starring Kevin James that is in cinemas nationwide from today. Well, that's it from me for another week. Don't try and miss me too much. My ultimate pick out of everything has to be We Will Rock You. I will see you next week. Whatever you get up to, have a fun and safe weekend. I'll see you same time, same place for some more What's On Action. We will rock you.